Now let's take a look at Official Guide 2016 DS number 29. So I'm going to use a variable approach method to solve this question. And from the question we can write the number of students who walk to school as A. And the number of students who do not walk to school can be written as B. And the question becomes if A is greater or equal to 0.6 times A plus B. And this can be written as A greater or equal to 0.6A plus 0.6B. And this can be written as 0.4A greater or equal to 0.6B. And again, this can be written as A is greater or equal to 0.6 over 0.4 times B. And this can be again written as A is greater or equal to 1.5B. So, looking at the condition 2, we can see that A equals 2B. So 2B is definitely greater or equal to 1.5B. The answer is yes, and the condition becomes sufficient. However, looking at the condition 1, the number of female students and male students are out of scope. So the condition becomes not sufficient, and the correct answer choice becomes B.
Let's take a look at question number 26 on the DS section in 2015 Official Guide for GMAT. Here we want to know something about profit, and usually the equation for profit is revenue minus cost. So we can say that we have three variables here: profit, revenue, and cost, and that we're already given one equation as above. So to solve for the three variables, we'll only need two additional equations. In condition 1, we're given one equation. In condition 2, we're given another equation. So it's likely that C will be our answer. But let's go back to the question. We really need to know revenue and cost. The question is just asking about the profit and whether it's exceeding 4 million at a certain point of sales. So really, the variable number is 1, not 3, and we only need one equation to solve for it. So it makes it likely that D will be our answer instead of C. Let's take a look at condition number 1. Here they're telling us that profits exceeding 2 million in sales of 200,000 units, but we don't know what the equation here for profit is. So after 180,000 more units of sale, it may very well exceed $4 million, but it may also not reach that yet. We don't have enough information, so condition 1 is insufficient. In condition 2, it tells us that the profit exceeded 5 million on the sale of 350,000 units. But this number of unit is less than our target unit of 380,000 units, but already it's exceeding $5 million, and it's only going to go up from here because that's what the question says. Although not proportionally, profit from sale will increase the total profit. So anything bigger than 5 million from now on is going to be bigger than 4 million, so we know that condition 2 is sufficient to solve our problem, and the answer becomes B. This approach to solving a problem is called the variable approach method, and nowadays it's the most proven and effective way of getting the correct answer on the DS section of GMAT Math. Let's take a look at question number 27 of the DS section in 2015 Official Guide for GMAT. It's asking us whether n is an even integer. So the number of variables is 1, and we only need one equation to solve this problem. In condition 1, we're given one equation. In condition 2, we're given another equation, so it's likely that D will be our answer. And indeed it is, so let's check why. In condition 1, n squared minus 1 is supposed to be an odd number, which means that n squared is an odd plus 1 number, which is an even number. And this tells us that n is an even number. So yes, condition 1 is sufficient to solve the problem. What about condition 2? It tells us that 3n plus 4 is equal to an even number, which means that 3n is equal to some even number minus 4, which is still an even number. But since we have an odd number times n equals even, n is also even. And this is because odd times even is even. Okay, so condition number 2 is also sufficient by itself, and yes, we can indeed solve the problem. So D is our correct answer, and this type of problem-solving approach is called the variable approach method, and nowadays it's the most proven and effective way of getting a correct answer on the DS section of GMAT Math. Let's take a look now at question number 28 on DS section of the 2015 official guide for GMAT. In this question, we're asked about a wage increase and the corresponding hours of work decrease. So let's represent some of our variables here first. Let's represent the wage, hourly wage, with W. And we'll represent the fewer hours worked, some number of hours worked, with an H. Okay? So here we have, based on the information given, W plus 1.5, that's the wage increase, times 30 minus H, that's the fewer hours, supposed to be the same as the current earning, which is wage times 30. So there are two variables here, W and H, and we already know one equation is given above by the problem itself. This tells us that we only need one more equation to solve it, and condition 1 gives us one equation, condition 2 gives us one equation, so it makes it likely that D will be our answer. And indeed it is, but let's see why. In condition 1, converting that into an equation, it says that the current wage, W times 30, is 225, so wage turns out to be 7.5. And plugging this into the previous equation that we saw, 7.5 plus 1.5 times 30 minus some fewer hours is equal to 225. This works out to be H equals 5 hours. So condition 1 is sufficient to solve the problem. What about condition 2? In condition 2, we have 0.2 W, that's 20% of wage, that's equal to $1.5. So it tells us that wage is 7.5, and again, hours decrease is 5, and so condition 2 is sufficient by itself as well, and D becomes our answer. This sort of problem-solving approach is called the variable approach method, and nowadays it's the most effective way to reach a correct answer in the DS section of GMAT Math.